Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we're going to be talking about HEX versus Bitcoin, the truth. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if you like this kind of hybrid quantitative, technical, and now apparently fundamental analysis, and be subscribed by the end of the video if you aren't already. Let's go ahead and talk about this idea. So what do I mean when I say the truth? Well, if we look back at, make sure my speakers are right, at before launch, right? We're told very clearly that HEX was designed to be a better Bitcoin. And what does that mean? It means it's designed to appreciate more, appreciate faster, be a better store of value, and it addresses a larger market than Bitcoin originally was intended to, where Bitcoin was originally intended to be peer-to-peer electronic cash. Clearly that's not the case. No one pays for their coffee in Bitcoin, and if they did, it would take forever and cost $4 or $5 per transaction. It makes no sense, right? And the dollars work just fine. And that's an unpopular opinion in crypto, where people are under this illusion that Bitcoin is, a peer-to-peer cash, which is not. And just to go off on a little tangent, it's been about a year that I had this idea that, that actually is still missing in crypto, a peer-to-peer, decentralized, anonymous, cash-like cryptocurrency, right? We actually don't have that. So just keep that in mind. So HEX was designed to be a better Bitcoin, and similarly, Pulse is being designed to be a better Ethereum. Now we have a whole video on Pulse versus Ether, the initial launch phase, so I'll leave a link here to check that out if you haven't already. I would love to continue making videos on that as we get more information. But back to the topic at hand, well, has HEX fulfilled its design intention of being a better Bitcoin? I would say yes so far. Why? Because if you go to lookintohex.com, it's a beautiful website, then you just have to tap on HEX versus BTC to get an idea. This is your ROI from launch, right? Respectively speaking, HEX is ahead of Bitcoin, right? And there have been periods of time where it's been behind, it's been ahead. This large period of time where it was behind, but recently it popped its head back above and actually blasted into being 3.4 times ahead of schedule. Currently, we're almost 2x, right, overperforming in the similar time frame that Bitcoin was existing. So that's just one metric via which you can measure, is HEX fulfilling its design intention of being a better Bitcoin? While in terms of appreciation, we got a check mark for that so far. And it was also designed to put Bitcoin value on the Ethereum network, right? It's clearly top 8 cryptocurrency. And if we look at nomics.com, we only actually have a few ERC20s that are ahead of HEX. Truly, Ethereum is the ERC20, right? It's the native ERC20. I think ADA has their own mainnet. I'm pretty sure BNB has their own mainnet. Pretty sure these guys, Ripple Doge, have their own mainnet. So if you look at things, clearly, other than Ethereum, HEX is the top ERC20. And so it has more value on the Ethereum network, about $28 billion, right, market cap, than any other ERC20 other than Ethereum itself. So is HEX fulfilling its design intention of putting value on the Ethereum network, putting Bitcoin value specifically on the Ethereum network? Well, not only is it the top ERC20, but yes, 300,000 Bitcoin approximately used their Bitcoin to mint their free HEX during the launch phase. So it looks like we have a bunch of check marks so far. Now, how about the HEX versus BTC pair? Well, HEX used to be 1 Satoshi, right? Early last year, January of 2020. 1 goddamn Satoshi, and I believe it even went lower, right? I don't think it shows it here, but I believe there were some exchanges where it actually went sub-Satoshi, right? That's when I learned about things like Litoshis and Ethoshis, where it's like, or actually I don't think an Ethoshi is a thing. Pretty sure you just call it Gwei. But yeah, then you realize, oh, things can go sub-Satoshi? Yeah, because you can pair them against different things, right? You can go more granular. But how has HEX been performing on this HEX BTC valuation? Well, it looks pretty damn good, right? It looks like we formed this entire market structure during the hyperinflationary phase, which I've mentioned plenty of times, ended right here. We oftentimes place a vertical line right there to kind of specify and illustrate, well, to the left of that, hyperinflation, to the right of that, completely new and different supply dynamics than we had, different inflation dynamics, and so things are different, right? And you can clearly see that. I'll place it right here, and when I place this, it'll unhide this drawing, which we're also going to talk about. So first of all, I'm going to place this right there, okay? So you can clearly see that after hyperinflation, all we've really had on the chart, if you consider the birth of the actual supply dynamics and inflation, real inflation, to be here after November 19th, all we really have on the chart is this nice, well-defined accumulation phase, followed by an impulse move up. And now it looks like we're having another accumulation phase. However, it's more overvalued than last time, right? So could this be the opportunity to snag up some HEX and multiply your Bitcoin? Well, it has been plenty of times, right? You've probably heard this phrase, right? But if you love Bitcoin so much, why wouldn't you trade it for something that appreciates faster and harder than Bitcoin and just buy more Bitcoin later? It's a fair point. And the reason I drew these blue lines here at this previous all-time high is because whenever you do have testing of all-time highs, and that's why I have this chart here, because I was going to illustrate for you that whenever you're testing all-time highs from up above, right, you blast through all-time highs, you come back down and you test it as support, that's generally a great sign, right? And clearly this was a good sign on the USD pair. And you could argue that we had not only this support, this horizontal support, but we also had exponential support, right, on a regression rainbow. And maybe that's why this actually blasted off more so. Maybe that's why it blasted off harder than it would have if it didn't have convergence of support. But nonetheless, it is generally known, it's generally well known that when you test all-time highs as support, it's generally a good sign. Right, and that happened on Ethereum as well. I actually do want to show you this because I want to drive this point home that I believe it was Grayscale. Correct me if I'm wrong, that was purchasing Ethereum. I mean, I'm sure they were purchasing a ton before this as well, but I remember seeing some articles saying that they were purchasing around this region or so. And it makes sense because large institutions, since they have more capital to play with, they're generally a little more risk averse in the sense that they're not going to try to time the bottom, but rather they try to trade, right? Confirmation signals, things that are a little more certain with less reward, right? Less risk, but less reward, which makes sense because if you just get 10% on $1 billion purchase, you already made 100 million. You see what I'm saying? It makes sense to be more risk averse the more capital you're playing with, because at the end of the day, you really only want to risk so much of your big stack. And so again, if someone as huge as Grayscale was buying Ethereum, what happened? Once it was retesting all-time highs as support, and lo and behold, they're probably hundreds of $1 million that they put in more than doubled. So that's a nice trade for them, right? It's a nice trade for them. And if they sold or not, I don't know. I have no clue. Maybe they did here. I really don't know. Maybe they're holding for a long time throughout this cycle, next cycle. I really don't know. But the point here is when you test all-time highs as support that were previous resistance, let's draw this actually on the wick here so you can clearly see, right? We were testing it as support. It was kind of a clear signal. It was kind of a clear signal that, hey, something might happen. Not guaranteed, but something might happen. And so if we saw that on the ETH USD pair, saw that on the HEX USDC pair, well, who's to say it on the HEX BTC pair that we won't see something similar, because we've had plenty of wicks to the downside, which indicates buy support. Okay? And these wicks to the downside have come back up and pretty much held support on this 111, 112 Satoshi region, which was what we wicked to as an all-time high and didn't test for a whole 6 months. So times are changing, things are different, things are looking good. What is the truth here? HEX was designed to be a better Bitcoin at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, right? Whether you believe in that thesis and that mission or not, that's what it was designed to do. And it was also designed to appreciate 10,000x from bottom to top, which it's already up over 1,000x, and we only have another, let's say, from where we are now, we only have another 10, 11x to go to fulfill its design intention. So that's the video for you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Appreciate you watching. Be subscribed by now. If you aren't already, leave a thumbs up. Thank you for getting me past 1,800 subscribers. Let's get to 1,900. I'll be making some more videos on Pulse in the near future because I know it's super hype. And not only that, the one video I've made so far, the Pulse versus Ether video, got to 1,000 views quicker than any of my other crypto videos have ever gotten to. And I think it's like at 1.4, almost 1.5K now. So you guys seem to want it. I would love for the sacrifice phase to just start already. We've been told days, and it's been days. I mean, could it launch today, tomorrow? Who knows? It could launch any minute now, right? So yeah, with that said, again, I appreciate you watching. Subscribe, like, turn on the bell, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.